Happy Monday, CORE1000 crew. Welcome to week 4. Hard to believe we're here already. We're almost a quarter of the way through this course already. I want to thank you for your work. I'm putting some finishing grades on some things, so please stay tuned for those over the next day or so. Stay tuned for an email of touching base with everybody a couple times a week just to make sure we stay connected. Thank you for all the work. As we come up on the kind of the quarter of the way mark of the semester, we're finally starting to fall into kind of a routine, I hope. And your other classes and how the business of those in your life and your kids and your work, etc. All of those things kind of will conspire to be the bulk of how you'll move forward for the next couple of weeks. Week 4 is kind of a good one. This semester, and throughout your career at St. Kate's, writing will be important. And I know some of you have great, strong writing backgrounds. I know some of you are still working on those skills at various levels. I need you to know that while you're at St. Kate's here, we'll continue to learn and work on writing skills throughout the course of your tenure here. We're never done learning how to write. It's a skill, it's learnable, and we can always continue to improve. And I know some of you are great writers. I know some of you have strong backgrounds, but we'll still continue to hone those things. So as we do these weekly writing exercises, they will be different. Some of you will take home different things from each of these little core pieces that we talk about. All right, I'm going to ask you to do a couple things. This week, I'm going to ask you to reread Chapter 2 in They Say, I Say. It deals with summarizing, and primarily it's summarizing academic articles. And then there's a video, if you take a look, to watch on summarizing academic articles as well, along with a little worksheet. This is super beneficial. The lion's share of your hours spent this week will be on summary. Good idea to take a look at week 4, see the overview, and you can see essentially the checklist of things. And then for each item in that checklist, there will be a separate page. So I'm going to ask you to read Chapter 2 again, and then I'm going to ask you to take a look at a video on summarizing. And this guy is good. He's got a couple of little follow-along activities that are worthwhile doing. It'll take just a little time, but I promise this will help you forever. And then I'm going to ask you to read an article, and it's kind of a power article called Call for Truth Telling. And after you've had the summarizing chapter reread, and after you've had the video on academic summaries, I'm going to ask that you write it can't be longer than 2 pages, even though it's a longer article. I'm going to ask you to write an academic summary. And if you take a look, there's some guidelines using what you know, and maybe having a couple drafts. I'm going to ask that you summarize the article called Call for Truth Telling. And I think you'll appreciate the article. And then this thing happens when you work on summaries that is above and beyond. It's more than, when you turn in a summary, the benefit of the summary isn't just the finished product, it's the process that you go through. So that will take up the lion's share of probably your time for this class this week. Reread Chapter 2, watch the video, and then really spend some time cranking on the academic summary. Please see the due dates, and that will just be turned in. You can use a doc or a PDF or however you would like to do that. All right, the next couple things I'm going to have you do will be to watch a video. Oh, my phone's dying. I'm going to have you watch a video called The Lasting Legacy of Place Names, which is kind of powerful. And if you're local here in Minnesota, it may have special significance. And then I'm going to ask you to read an article called The Healing Journey. And in both of these second things, learning about the lake and the healing journey, I'm going to ask you to think about language and community. So you've had the chance to read through our stories about people, where they've come from, the kind of communities they left, the kind of communities that they find themselves in. And there's an undercurrent of language. And as we move forward here a little bit into kind of the middle chunk of the semester, we are going to continue to focus on not just ourselves, which is kind of the first part of this, but we're going to reach outward a little bit to think about community. Your discussion this week, and if you've noticed, every week there's a couple things. There's some written work and then there's some discussion. Your discussion this week will be to answer a couple of questions, having read the Lasting Legacy of Place Names and The Healing Journey, and to answer a couple of questions. And on these discussions, I'd really like it if you would put some thought into these. I can definitely tell that some of you put more time into these than others, and your classmates can tell as well. And this week there will be some questions to answer through the lens of community and language, and then there will be some responses that are required for your classmates. I will reach out to each of you individually. Take a big breath. The first thing to do every Monday is kind of take a look at the overview, take a look at the things to do, make sure you see the page layouts, and then take a look at due dates, because we will have due dates every week. And then either put those due dates in your phone, write them in your planner. They will appear if you go into Canvas, and you can always see them as reminders, but it's sometimes nice to lay the week out. Always start with the things that are due first, right? That's triage. And I know that seems a little bit rudimentary, but sometimes we forget that. Always take a look at what's due first, work on that. And usually the way that it's laid out is that work will help you inform the other stuff that will take maybe a little bit longer during the course of the week. I'm rambling on again. I really appreciate your time. Take a look at grades coming up, posted soon. Please get a good jump on this week, and I will touch base with you all soon. I really do appreciate the emails back. It's nice to stay in touch with you, and sometimes I actually communicate more with students in my online classes than I do with students who just come and simply sit in the classroom for 2 hours and then get up and leave right at the end of the day. So I'm here if you need me. If you have any questions, please reach out. Thanks for the work, crew.